Am I the a-hole for saying you shouldn't touch girls to my 10-year-old son? I, 32 female. My husband, 34 male. Have 3 kids, 2 teenager girls and a 10-year-old boy. Last week, I spotted him on the playground putting his arm around a girl from his class, and when I asked him about it, he said she was his girlfriend. My husband laughed and told him don't break too many hearts. I asked my son if he had asked the girl if it was okay before he put his arm around her, and he said no. I gently explained to him that he shouldn't ever touch girls like that without getting their consent first. He didn't know what consent meant, so I had a mini discussion with him about how it's not nice to touch people without their permission. And asking first means that you know the other person doesn't mind. My husband was silent during the entire conversation. My son didn't seem to be bothered by our small talk, which only lasted a couple of minutes, replied with okay, and then went to go play his Switch. After he left the room, my husband went off on me, saying that I'm making my son sound like a predator in the making, that it's just innocent playground fun, and that I'm blowing it way out of proportion. I obviously don't think my 5th grader is a predator, but I felt like it was important to teach him about the idea of consent from a young age. However, I do have a complicated history when it comes to this subject, so maybe that's clouding my judgment. So, am I the a-hole? You're not the a-hole. Teaching kids about consent early on is really important. I think your only mistake was telling him he shouldn't touch girls. It should be applied to anyone, and backed up by you and your husband, making sure that you also practice what you preach. As example, not touching him or his siblings, including hugs, kisses, without their consent, not telling them they have to give their grandma a hug, etc. Learning good habits such as asking, "Can I put my arm around you? Is it okay if I hug you?" etc. Lay the foundations for conversations about consent in sexual situations as he gets older. Your husband is wrong to suggest that you're treating him like a predator. On the contrary, you are teaching him how not to grow up to be a predator. And it's also important to include in that conversation that this means he also has the right to expect that people should ask his consent as well, and that he also has the right to say no. These are critical conversations to have. It was a learning opportunity and you were smart to take it. This will need to be an ongoing conversation as well, and you need to talk to your husband. If he's not on board, that's concerning.